Here's a simple tutorial on how to draft this double-breasted blazer with a double layer. To draft this, you're going to have about 3.5 to 4 inch in front of your pattern depending on the body size you're working on. Then mark out your basic measurement of your shoulder to bust, under bust, waist and blouse length. Now mark your shoulder divided by 2, come down by 1 inch. I'm going to come down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope. After this, I'll place my tape, mark my basic measure neckline of 3 inches. From this point, I'm going to extend it to the neckline. The next step is to find my chest line, and to find that is your bust measurement divided by 6 plus 1.5 inches. Whatever you get, make a mark, place your ruler, draw out a straight line. So after you're done marking that, what you're going to do is you're going to place your tape again and you're going to mark your shoulder measurement divided by 2. I'm going to place my ruler, connect this all the way up. After I'm done connecting at that point, I'm going to share my armhole into 2 equal parts. Fold your tape again and mark. Now I'm going to come in by ½ inch, then place my tape and mark my bust measurement divided by 4. I'm going to go ahead to connect this to the upper part and connect to my bust measurement divided by 4. Now after marking this, the next step I'm going to take is to mark my dart. From this line we have at the front part, that is where your dart will start. Measure your nipple to nipple, whatever you get, divide it by 2. My nipple to nipple is 7 inches. Divided by 2, I'll have 3.5, which I'll go ahead to mark. I'm working on the upper part of this dress first before we go ahead to draft the back. Now mark ½ inch on both sides of this pattern, come down by 1 inch from your bust, then you're going to connect this all the way to the sides of your pattern. After you're done doing this, from the armhole of your pattern, you're going to go ahead to connect. Now after connecting, this is what I have. Let's go ahead to insert our dart. Mark ½ inch on both sides, then blend it into the initial dart that you have here. After that, also do this for the other side. Measure that ½ inch, take out 1 inch by the side, connect this to the armhole. Now the next step is to insert your body measurement, which is going to start immediately from this line. Mark your bust measurement divided by 4. Take your dart intake, replace and add your sewing allowance. Place your tape, mark your waist measurement divided by 4. Pick your dart intake, replace and add your sewing allowance. So I'll just stop here for now and I'll go ahead to connect. If you notice I did not mark my under bust, when making your blazer, you don't really need your under bust measurement. Now for a blazer, 1 inch is okay for your sewing allowance, ½ inch for sewing and ½ inch for ease. So the next step now is to go ahead, mark my bust dart. To get your bust dart is the difference between your shoulder to waist in front and your shoulder to waist at the back. My shoulder to waist in front is 17, while my back is 15.5. If you take out 15.5 from 17, you will have 1.5. Then you mark and shade out. That is how to get your bust dart. Now after doing this, I'm going to go ahead to extend my dart all the way down. So after marking this, I'll go ahead to mark. So this is where the second layer will start. Now if you look at this dress, we have like 2 layers. We have like 2 layers by the side of this dress, right? So the first one is starting at this point now that I have. Then mark your hip measurement divided by 4, add your sewing allowance, then go ahead to connect. So that is why I stopped my dart at that point. I used 5 inches after my waistline. So this is not a standard. Please use whatever measurement where you want the first layer to start. For the neck depth, I'm using about 6 inches. This 6 inches is not also a standard, depending on your body measurement, right? From the shoulder to the bust of my dress is not the same with another person. So you want to place your tape at the shoulder to take the accurate measurement of how deep you want the neckline to be. What you do is to go ahead to connect, and I will go ahead to extend it. I'll mark 0.3 here. This is that little space we have at the neckline of this pattern, right? Just go ahead and I will outline my waistline because that is where the overlap is going to be at the front part. Then go down a bit how deep you want the neckline to be. Then from here you're going to connect it all the way to this point, right, all the way to the waistline where it overlaps. If you look at the blazer, you notice it overlaps there. When I get to this point, I'll now connect it a bit. You notice I went up slightly by 1 inch above my waistline. This is so that I will not have a sharp edge at the waistline. Then you can come in here by 1 inch, 1.5, or come out a little. This is the overlapping area of the blazer. And by the side of this blazer, you'll be going up, right? So you notice I exceeded the actual length I wanted before for my blazer. So this is because what I wanted was looking a bit short. Then come up by half or 1 inch by the side of your blazer to give it that slight curve. So I'm coming up by 1 inch now. I'm using the full length of my pattern paper as my blazer length. So I went up by 1 inch from that point, and I'll go ahead to connect. So this is what I have here now. So after I'm done connecting now, we are going to now cut out the waist area. So we are going to use that part for the overlap. From here, you come out by 1 inch or 0.75, so close to the dart line. So this is to create room for this part that we are going to cut out and then replace. So what I'll do now is just to go ahead to cut this out, that part that we're going to use for the overlap, right? So I'll be explaining how to achieve that part, and that is the technical part of this dress. So it is a bit tricky, but you have to like pay attention to it. So what I'll do now is to start cutting out. So I'll just go ahead and cut this out. Remember to blend your bust dart and then cut out the rest of your pattern. After cutting that part, here now you're going to cut out the waistline area. Then after cutting out the waistline area, you're still going to cut out this part separately. Now you're going to add like an additional pattern. Add like an additional pattern to this is what is making up for that overlap on the dress. Go ahead to tape it down. Now go ahead to trim out the sides to match the side of the one we have, right? So now we're still going to sew our dart. You extend your dart legs. Now this part now you cut it out separately, but to create that overlap, you're going to connect it to the one underneath it, because there's no way you're going to join the dress without, if it just overlaps this way, there's no top stitch on top. That means this pattern actually meets the other side, but what will meet the other side now will be another attachment that you add to it. So I'll just lash this open, right? Then I'll go ahead to place another pattern paper underneath it. This pattern paper you're adding to it is either you cut out the darts or you blend out the darts. So at first I cut out the dart. I felt it wasn't really right because you just have joining also towards the underneath part of it. So I felt like when you cut it out, instead of that part going under, you have to like blend out the dart and not cut out the dart. So watch me do this, right? So exactly at that waistline, it needs to match that waistline where you cut it out. Cut out that excess, right? Then you open it up. So we are going to be attaching this now to this other part. So you also have to like cut this out. You cut this out. Let me cut out this front part that I will not be needing. So for the pattern going underneath this dress, what I'll do now is I will blend it out. This is the actual pattern of the dress. Please pay attention. This part will be tricky, right? This part is tricky. Now you're attaching it back, but before attaching it back, there must be a connection from coming from this side now to that other side. So just like I said, the dart here, I cut it together with the part underneath it. Are you seeing that extra underneath it? I felt like it's not going to be nice because you'll be joining the dart under. So what I did was to go ahead to remove it. right? I went ahead to remove that additional pattern paper I added. So if you're confused on any part, please ask me questions, because I know this dress is a bit confusing, right? So that extra pattern paper now is supposed to go underneath and meet this other side. I felt it was not necessary cutting out a dart underneath. It's best I blend it out. So what I'll do is I'll tape back my pattern. I'll remove that pattern paper I added underneath. Instead of sewing a dart underneath, it's better I blend it out. So this is the main actual pattern. This one my hand is the main actual pattern. So in case you don't understand, I will still like explain further when I'm joining it. So I'll just go ahead and I will join this, right? I will join it back like the original pattern, starting from the waistline. For the lining of this dress, is just going to have your normal princess dart by the side. And I will bring another pattern paper all together and cut out again. You notice the first one we did, we cut out that together with it. Now for this one we are cutting, I will blend out the dart. It's best to blend out the dart than to cut out that for the lining, right? So I'll just notch where I have dart lines on, or I'll place it on top here. Mark the areas where I have dart lines and I will notch it. So from there now I will blend it out. You're blending out your dart, then you now place it to cut out. When you're making your dress, when you're done joining the upper part, now this lining that I have, this one my hand is on, right, is the lining, but you're going to use the same crepe fabric you use for your suit to cut it out. Then you're going to go ahead to join it. That is after you're done joining the upper part that has that, right? You're going to join it together. So sorry I forgot to cut out this dart here. I'm actually meant to cut that part out now, because I'm trying to explain when you're sewing the dress. That is after you're done cutting the upper part, you join it together, then you bring out the lining together and join. So right now let me remove this dart. Now I was supposed to remove it earlier than now to avoid confusing you. So when you remove your dart, this is what you will have, right? So let me use my tape and join my pattern together as if I am sewing the dress, so that you understand. So now let's say you've joined the upper part, the princess dart part together. After joining it, you now join this lower part to it. After joining the lower part of it together, right, you will now join it with this front part that has the overlap, right? Then what you now do is this part now you will join it together. Remember we use the same waistline. This is just like the waistline of half of this dress that we cut out. So you're going to place it together now. When you place it together, this is what you have. You join it together. Then by the time you're done joining it, you now go ahead to join it to the other side. So let me just label this. You use crepe as your lining. That is the main fabric. Your lightweight crepe that you use in making the dress, that is what you use. Then when you now do it, you now join it back to the side of the dress this way. Let me use my tape to hold it so that you see what I'm talking about. So I'll just use my tape and hold it down. So after holding it down, what you do is you're going to flip it. Now if you flip it, you now have that extra layer that is on top of that blazer. Then you will stitch the side. So for the back of this dress, I didn't get to see it. So what I will do is to just cut out a normal back pattern. Now you'll be cutting out two of this pattern. One will be overlapping the other and be creating the wrap effect. For the back pattern, I've marked out the basic measurement, the basic neckline of 3 by 1 inch. I marked the shoulder, then I marked the chest line the same way we got that of the front. I marked the shoulder to waist for the front, and then my waist to blouse length is 6 inches, and I did so for the back. Then you're going to start by marking your dart, which you will mark your nipple to nipple divided by 2. Place your ruler and draw a straight line all the way down. After marking this, you want to go ahead to mark ½ inch on both sides, then come down by 1 inch here. Then after that, place your ruler, connect it, then connect it at the other side. Then after connecting, you also connect here all the way to the lower part of your dress. Then also repeat this at this side, right? Then the next step is to go ahead to mark the bust measurement divided by 4, add your sewing allowance. Mark the waist measurement divided by 4, pick your dart intake, replace and add your sewing allowance. Mark your hip measurement divided by 4, add your sewing allowance. After you're done sewing, marking that, you're going to go ahead to connect, then come up by 1.5 inches here. Then you now go ahead to draw your curves out. So this is what I have here right now. Then the next step is just to go ahead to cut out. I like back pattern to be slightly higher, so if not, you can just go ahead to connect it. Then I'll just go ahead to cut this out. If you have any questions so far, please kindly go ahead to ask.